Allies. How do you feel about that word when people use the word white allies or allies? How do you feel about that? And will black people ever have any true allies, that people that really 100% are for black people?
I'll answer it in two parts because you asked two questions. An ally or an accomplice, as we prefer, somebody who is willing to put their existence or the space that they're in on the line to make sure that equality or equity is being enforced. So if you're going to be a true ally, whether you're white or a non-black ally, utilize the space that you're in. It's not that we want what you have. It's about calling out the injustices. If you know that Jamal or Antoine should have got hired, speak out. Donald Trump, one of the dumbest people to ever live on the face of the earth. It's white privilege that got him in that space. No black man on earth can be as dumb and unqualified as him and be successful. There's not one. Only a white man can do that in the times that we're living in. So back to being an ally. An ally doesn't mean we have to integrate. An ally means intellectual integration. An ally is saying, hey, you know what? This space is hella white. And this is a public space. So this is another thing people don't understand. When we go to Latino communities, you don't ever see black people trying to get into Latino communities because those are private spaces. White people take public spaces and whiten it. So you're using public resources, public spaces, and then you make it all white. And then when black people create, you create new laws, or the government comes, or law enforcement comes with these bullshit regulations and rules. How you gonna tell a black woman that she need to go to school to braid? Black women have been braiding before you even thought of it.
Damn.
You understand?
Yeah, that's real.
How is it that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's wrong for me to pimp, but if I go to Vegas or Amsterdam or any of these other places or record you, having sex on camera, it's okay. I wonder who controls the pornography industry. I wonder who controls what's going on in Vegas. I wonder who's financially benefiting. It's wrong to gamble. When black people was doing the numbers and running up their bag, I wonder who controls the lottery.
Absolutely.
Everything that we do, oh, you're selling weed, you're the scum of the earth. But now cannabis is all good. So this is another thing. Make black being legal.
You spoke on the cannabis. I'm sure, coming up in Fillmore, a lot of people went down for weed charges and got records for weed charges. That's now legal. What's the solution to fix that?
Retroactive justice. Retroactive release. Every man, woman, and child in the United States of America, I don't care if they got caught with 1,000 tons of weed, 1,000 pounds of weed, needs their records expunged permanently. This is every single person. You know what I'm saying? Retroactively. It was never a problem with marijuana. It was always a problem with who was financially benefiting off of it. Because once the white man got involved in it, as you can see, it's on buses now. Everybody can smoke marijuana and do things that have to do with weed and shit like that, and it's good. You know what I'm saying?
What is the number one thing to fighting white supremacy? Is it unity or finance?
I don't believe it's white supremacy. That term right there within itself, I feel like when you're white supreme, I believe it's an inferiority complex. But in order to fight racism, it's a coalition. One thing about it is, it's not just affecting black people. Right now, how many white people are uncomfortable because of the race relations? This is a hijack of humanity. It is a black issue, and it is a political issue, but understand, ultimately, it's humanity that's being fucked over. So we need the politicians to understand, get involved in dismantling it. No different than when you see other communities or other issues that are bigger than oneself. So the issue, in order to combat it, of course you want black people to stick together. But it's not just black people being affected by it, bro. It's not. You feel me? And you may say, what do you mean by that? Well, if racism has built prisons, how many lives are being imprisoned, and then who's imprisoning these people? Look at all these cops. Look at all these district attorneys. Look at all these prison guards and shit like that. What could they be if their life wasn't being spent wasting their time? Because that's all it is. It's a joint effort. It's just that, of course, we're being oppressed, but this shit is a waste of time.
Okay.
And we got the internet now. So whether white people, no, I'm not even going to say white people. I'm going to be very specific. Whether racist people know it or not, racism is on its last leg.
Why would you say that?
I'm going to go based off 1619. 1619, it was bondage, overt servitude in a totalitarian way. That means there was no conversation to be had. You're on a plantation. There's no access, there's no relief, there's no media, there's only what we say. When you look at what's going on now, things have changed. Things have changed drastically, not at the rate that we want, but things have changed. How long do you think you're going to be able to oppress people globally in the name of their color? How long do you think that society is going to allow this to be seen on the phones? Don't you think people are going to get tired of it? Oh, they were tired of it. No. These 80s babies, these 90s kids, these millennium children, ain't going for this shit, bro.
1804, the Haitian Revolution. What could black people today learn from these people from 1804, Haitians?
Without Haiti, we wouldn't be free. So everything. Without the blood and the spirit of the Haitians in 1804, which was the first country in the Western Hemisphere first nation in the Western Hemisphere to fight and demand their freedom, there would be no us. Everything can be learned from them. I would say their spirit is what got us here, and people need to revisit that spirit and understand what's going on. Right now, the revolution, or I will call it the evolution, is more intellectual and it's more policy driven than it is brute force. So for people out there, oh, there's going to be a civil war, there's going to be a martial law. Too many guns out here right now. It's about pushing policy. It's about holding people accountable, and it's about saying this shit is wrong.
Absolutely. This is before I move on from Haiti, voodoo. How do you feel about voodoo?
I feel like it's a beautiful thing. Voodoo is a beautiful thing. Same way I feel about any other religion. You know what I'm saying? I feel it has its pros and cons, but I'm not well versed enough on voodoo to go in depth. But I do know that it's a beautiful tool for our people to utilize, and I would encourage more black folks to get involved in voodoo.
Yeah, it got a negative stigma when you educate yourself on it just a little bit. You see, it's not
everything black.
Yeah.
Everything that has to do with black people has a negative stigma. It's always ghetto and bad and whatever until another group of people do it. Then it look at butts. Black women's butts were ghetto. Black people's lips were ghetto. Now, you know, people fly from all around the world to get that shit done, man. Look like a black woman.
Facts.